Good afternoon, Middle. My name's Rod Colburn. My pronouns are he, him, and his. And I'm here to tell you something this afternoon that I've never said before, except maybe to myself quietly in private. It certainly hasn't been heard in these walls until today. Thank you, Donald Trump. Whoa. What in the world, you ask? What are you talking about, Rod? Let me explain. Because before his improbable nomination and incomprehensible election, there are already huge problems in America and with American Christianity. But of those problems, I was only partially aware. As the shocking and horrifying new reality pummeled me in the wee hours of November 9th, 2016, my world changed. The tectonic plates beneath my soul shook violently. As in the biblical phrase, the scales fell from my eyes, and I could see. I could see the huge problems, those great evils, that profound injustice, which had always been there, I just couldn't see them. I knew from observing Donald Trump for 25 years from my Wall Street vantage point that any political party in any religion that could support such a person to lead the world were, without any doubt, morally bankrupt. The Republican Party and American Christianity, even more distressingly, had pledged their collective allegiance to the most un-Christ-like public figure I had ever seen. And yes, whether they realized it or not, the majority of American Christians had thus turned their backs on Jesus. That meant that I, as a card-carrying Republican evangelical Christian, go ahead and boo, was suddenly standing in an unjustifiable, indefensible place, and it was time to leave, quickly. So my lifelong journey from right to left, along the political spectrum and the spiritual spectrum, suddenly accelerated from a crawl to a sprint. Because of Donald Trump, which is why I stand here today, not to praise him, but to thank him. Since that fateful day, the learnings, the realizations, the revelations have come thick and fast, and I won't trouble you with even a fraction of them, but I do want to share two of them with you. First, the kick in my backside administered by Donald Trump has propelled me toward the real Jesus, the one who's the diametrical opposite of Trumpism, the one who speaks for himself from the red letters of the New Testament in your hearts and in mine, and requires no theological interpretation. As I fixate on that powerful model for human behavior, I'm beginning to believe that the way of Jesus leads beyond Christianity. The way of Jesus leads beyond Christianity and also beyond capitalism and nationalism and militarism. The glimpses I'm starting to see of that new kind of place are of a delightful sort of heaven on earth where love is the only religion, selflessness is the governing ethic, and the giving of oneself just goes on and on. Second, that new kind of place, it looks a lot like Middle. Middle is a verdant oasis of love amidst the desert sands of selfishness and materialism, a place where unconditional acceptance and a very simple religion called love are proclaimed and practiced with joyous enthusiasm. I first visited Middle a little more than 6 months ago on January 6th. Got the date circled on my calendar. After having run into Jackie and John on the West Coast and accepting their invitation to come and check it out. Here's part of the email I sent later that day to my entire network of friends and family. Email was titled, "What I Did Today." I went to capital C church today for the first time in my life. Crazy talk, you say, Rod. You've been to church more than 1,000 times in your 56 years. Yes, that's true, but I've never been to capital C church until today. It's a very different place, capital C church. It's a place where love, God's all-pervasive love, flows freely and unfettered, without any consideration as to who you are or what you believe. Jews and Buddhists and Muslims and atheists are there. Christians of all stripes and no stripes are there. Jesus freaks are there. Regardless of sexuality, race, ethnicity, or national origin, all there, basking as one seamless human family in the incomparable, soul-warming rays of Creator God. The capital C church I discovered today is Middle Collegiate Church, Jackie Lewis's incredible East Village congregation. And the experience was, for me, transcendent. The atmosphere was joyful, the welcome heartfelt, the music soaring and standing inducing. Thank you, John. The words inspiring and, yes, tear-jerking. But any more specifics would be too many, since words would fall short of reality. Suffice it to say that what made Middle Church a capital C church for me today was simply how profoundly, how perfectly, how faithfully it represented God to me. Love, period. The rest, as Jackie says, is just commentary. It was obviously love at first sight. And now it's been 6 months. Turns out it wasn't an infatuation, because everything I said about Middle in that email 6 months on is still true and more. As I reflect, however, I can't help but believe that if anything can change the world, a place like Middle can. A movement like Revolutionary Love can. For those of you that haven't joined us already, come, join the movement. Come, change the world.